Okay, now we're live on both. Okay, perfect. Okay. Alrighty. Oh my god, I just totally got flashbanged. Hi chat, welcome in. Hope everyone's doing well. Um, okay. Okay, let's get it started. Hi, YouTube. I look petrified. I know I was petrified. All right. All right. So, okay, what were we talking about? Oh, so yeah, so welcome in YouTube people. Hi, Twitch chat. Today we're doing, I think it's the third. Is it the third? Um, mm, mm, oh, my tail is bouncing up in the background. I see it. Hold on. There we go. Um, uh, I think it's the third reading. It should be the third reading. Okay, let me open the mm, let me open the game for you, Mystic. Mm. I really gotta make my eyeballs smaller. Would you be freaked out, Chad, if I turned my entire eyes red? Anyway, okay. Let me open the game for Mystic so she can fish. It's okay, I'm just reading for chat. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, now chat can hear you too. Okay. Mm-mm. Okay. Hmm. Oh, I got a jellyfish. Cool. Okay. Alrighty. I don't know. Did we read chapter 3, chat? I don't remember. Well, I don't know if we were up to chapter 3 or not. Hi, Endless. I guess we can start from chapter 3 again. Why not, right? We'll do chapter 3 and 4 today. Chapter 4 is almost finished. I have to add a couple of more lines at the end of it. But then after that, we'll move back to Trixie's story. So, recap for those of you who haven't watched the videos on YouTube. Why haven't you? My link is in the description. And also, we're live on YouTube right now. Um, uh, so, what happened so far was we picked up from book one, and gone to book two, and we met the Alpha, who has tasked Trixie, one of Kyo's friends, aka Teach, with a task, because a bunch of people have been getting raised from the dead. Not just like vampire raised from the dead, like zombies. So there's nothing like zombies in Teach's world. There's vampires. So yeah. So that's what's happened so far. We know that Trixie is like some otherworldly being. We don't know exactly what he is yet. That will be coming later. I'm excited for that part. We know that he has a hot girlfriend who's goth. And in exchange for the goth lady having rent free in the town for her coffee shop and free room and board during the week, Trixie agreed to teach arcane magic. It's going well so far, as well as it can be for someone who spent years, let's just say, not. Is there something wrong with my mouth? Uh, ah, hmm, 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 hmm. Well, I put eyeshadow on my model, but I have to fix my lipstick. It's all smudged. Anyway, you like my little hat, chat? Little bed cap, and my little pumpkin friend. All right, that's you, chat, by the way. All right, let's get started. Let's open up our. What do we call it, chat? Um, Reader. I definitely remember reading this with you guys, chat. With the okay. We'll start right here. We'll start here. Okay. All right. Here we go. I don't know why I always get so nervous when doing this. Okay. All right. Hydrate. All right. She shut her eyes, biting her lip as she grabs his hands with her own, almost making a scoff noise. I don't need protection. There are so many others worse off. She didn't like to always feel weak. She wished she could control things, which is where the whole concept of Omega and the pack system worked. Submission by choice and by the idea that it allows someone to be more comfortable around her or to ease tensions between dominant personalities. As he pulled the jacket off her shoulders, he felt the blood coat his fingers. It was slightly deep, no major artery nicked, but close. She was leaning against the tree now more as a necessary. Don't worry, once I shift, it will most likely heal. She inhaled the scent, and his fingers touched, almost on instinct, the vein on his neck, and her eyes locked. I love readings at the Sus Library. The hair on the back of his neck stands up as he feels the intent in her instincts. Who did we pick for Endless last time? I think we had Liam. I think it was Liam. Oh, let me make sure that it's capturing the audio. Okay, properties. Okay, here we go. Ready?
The hair on the back of his neck stands up as he feels the intent in her instincts. Puppy, as long as you don't pull it out, you can bite all you want. He put a little pressure on the wound with his hand to stanch the bleeding, and for the record, I wasn't protecting you. I was making sure you weren't hurt further if it helps your mindset. He gives her a rough smile. He grins to one side and bites. You know, I know even less about vampires than shifters. They rarely sent me vamp poaching. I'm guessing this is some kind of way to make sure everything there doesn't try to eat me.
Oh, Endless. Okay. She smiled and looked at him closely and sort of nodded. More so that you can siphon power, and more like a locator mark. When she pulled off his neck, the smell of burning flesh continued as the mark started to appear on her upper breast in the pattern of a claw mark and two small X's. She bites her lip as she sits in his lap motionless, stealing her body and face from expressing any sort of discomfort or pain. That was a weakness, and years of training showed in her. She let out a sigh as soon as the bright light of burning flesh stopped. She moved off his lap and smiled as she dropped her bag on the floor she'd been carrying on her back, and she began to rummage through it to see what can help them right now. They had an idea of where they needed to go, but she had no idea what she would face at the location or who had compromised the mission. She was in a lot of danger, and those kids were currently lost to her, and her informant was also dead. I don't know how this is gonna, if it's gonna read this, because there's a lot of numbers in this. We'll see.
Endless whistles bring her back. Nice gear you got there, puppy. I just use those for fun though. Plus, keeping them strapped to you while you heat them unintentionally isn't a good idea for me. Points to several now obvious burn scars in the shape of the blade faces. So I'll stick to the classics. He pulls out a 50 caliber 5 chamber revolver. For anything bear-sized or bigger, I have a pair of dual 1911 pistols chambered in 45 ACP as intended with silencers. and extended magazines. He waits a moment before he pulls out a bandolier of what looks to be clumps of C4 suspended in crystallized nitroglycerin in medium-sized mason jars. I also got some ammo coated in wolfsbane, nightshade, and itching powder because fuck 'em if they can heal from all that they still get a rash under their wound.
They're wound. Wound. They're wound. That's so fucking funny. Okay. She almost fell over. She rolled her eyes at him and snarled low at him in the direction of the C4 inside. Covert ops. 2, civilians. And 3, if this is demons, there's no point in that because it's timed and they'll just go through the fade. She shifted her weight from side to side. One of the knives she placed against her skin, and white light came through her arm, around it like a creeping vine to the blade, covering it as she groaned in pain. The dagger grew to a full length, with her shifting back down as she slid it against her leather miniskirt. Lower down on her thigh was another small blade that had a faint red hue to it. Her tail was exposed as it curled around her frame, almost protectively. Her wolf ears on top of her head flicked back and forth as it listened to the movements around the forest. She turned to watch him. Remember, if something attacks us, try not to kill on sight. Her eyes looked at him as if pleading with him. These creatures also suffer from man's hate. He tossed in the keys, knowing she was not allowed to drive anyways. As they returned to the Packlands to pick up his car, the burns on her body healed due to his shift and feeding from him. All right, chapter 4. Anybody need a rest, hydrate, or anything? I'm gonna hit my vape. Are we still with me? Everybody still here? Oh my god. I swear. I've been losing this shit all the time. I'd be losing my head if it wasn't attached to my body, I swear. Alright, let me get you that hydrate redeem. Okay, here's my hydration. My model looks so funny. Alright. Alright, chat. Here we go. Next chapter. As they made their way to the destination, something is definitely waiting for them inside that they can feel. I lost it again. Oh no, it's right there. Okay. Okay. She can almost taste it. Hunger hidden underneath the thinly veiled calm, waiting for the chance to burst. If she opens that door, who knows what sort of danger is waiting for them inside. Despite knowing she would get out of the despite knowing this, she would get out of the car. A deep breath. Taking. Okay. Taking. Taking a deep breath, trying to keep herself relaxed. I don't know what happened. I think the document ate the rest of those words. It's a little hard to see with no light for him. They can make out empty wooden boxes here and there, stacked on top of one another. There's also some sort of old machinery on the corner. The surface is rusty, and some of its parts have broken off. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be anyone in this place, or anyone alive. He can feel the soft hum of power from his mark, though. He exhales a few times.
I don't like this one bit already. Why is it already ominous?
He says. He stirs beside her, his hands clutching his weapon under his coat. He enters and maintains a state of dull focus. I think that's supposed to be full focus and anticipation. Part of a mage mental training, removing the self from the body and mind, allowing them to perceive all within their vision. It is standard among mages, but highly mentally draining, while still allowing the body to move. I forgot to put periods in a lot of this shit. She looks back and sees him do this as they step forward.
Don't worry, puppy, I remember no immediate killing. These are quicksilver and itching powder.
He replies to her stare. A creak comes from above. She scans the metal beam along the ceiling, making sure she did not miss the glow of a cat's eye or the tail of a rat running about. In the end, she finds nothing, but the same darkness looming around her. She takes a step back, readying herself. Suddenly, something pushed them to the nearest wall. Her arms felt trapped as her sides groaning softly. She struggles a bit, then catches her breath while she brews a plan to escape. Out of all the things she anticipated, Jesus. She did not expect her captor to suddenly lean in, their breath tickling her neck, and she almost chuckled. Vampire bud, she whispered. He'd feel the same thing. He'd feel the sharp end of a fang grazing his artery. I don't know how to do the vampire voices, so I don't have a deep enough voice for that, so just bear with me, chat, for that part. Okay. Sound vibrates around the room as if coming from multiple directions. These baby vampires probably recently turned and forgotten about. She'll have to report this, or end them. She sighed, hating needless killing, but it seemed someone was a bit too loose with their playthings. Couldn't be more than 5 or 6 of them. There was something else, though. There were traces of humans beyond this door. Trespassing. Endless feels the air prick his neck, but couldn't manage to catch sight of whatever is there. Instinctively, he leans into it, wanting it to actually graze him, so he knew where to incinerate it if it needed to be.
I personally prefer breaking and entering, but I'll take a trespassing charge.
Says Endless. Or he says, half under his breath. It was excluding bravado, as most creatures, especially of the animal kind, take not of a show of strength. Unfortunately, these fledgling vampires, I don't think I knew that twice because fledglings are vampires, knew none of that, and most likely didn't even know their own senses. He remembered her words at the moment. So, guys, if you remember this red thing, this whole paragraph, I stole from book 1, and it's also in chapter 1. So I kind of repeat this a lot. So this is kind of like the running vein of the entire story. That's going to be prevalent throughout the book and the first book. It's kind of like Teach's motto, I guess you could say. So I'm going to have the AI read it, though. All right, copy. Let's see.
I still get nightmares. In fact,
what sunshine is to flowers, smiles are to humanity. These are but trifles.
Good morning. Welcome to World News at 8. The Prime Minister.
Hey, it's been a while. How have you been? That's great to hear. As for me, I spent my weekend watching that new TV show.
I still get nightmares. In fact,
The right of everyone to live. Women and children just like them.
Women and children, the right of everyone to live. Yes, some monsters indeed deserve to die, because they prey on humans, because they kill without mercy, but humans are no better, they kill our kind without thought, without mercy. Women and children just like them, who made us the judge. But over half the creatures you so certainly deem as killers actually live peacefully amongst humans, and you don't even know. Hunters only find the monsters that let themselves be seen, the ones that practically ask to be hunted. Most of them live secretly, without calling attention to themselves, because they just want to live like any other normal person. Not all of us are monsters, like the ones who hurt you.
Hmm. A feminine voice made a sound further from him and closer to her and spoke plainly, her machete gripped tightly in her hand. What are you, little one? The man vampire who was breathing down Endless's neck, inches shrouded from the dark, also popped up in response to the woman. You smell like a vampire, but that doesn't seem right. You're something else, something odd. She didn't answer them, just tried to reach for her dagger that was strapped to her thigh, but didn't expect them to step away from her so quickly that she hit the ground with a thud, and the knife made a loud clank sound, and the one holding him made an annoyed tisk sound. But another audible bang sounded like machinery rang out, giving Teach a brilliant idea. She called out to Endless. Endless, fireball to your left and up 45 degrees. You little fucker, the vampire holding him said curtly. When he did when the room would illuminate with the fireball. As an old hanging cloth had been set alight, allowing them to see. Flames had leaped from the bottom of the scar of his neck and flown down his left arm as he slices an X through the air with his hands, and the path it follows is whirled la, 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 is engulfed in flames. There we go. I promise I can spell chat. She can tell he is actively trying to control his output. If he had not cared about collateral, that fire could have been hot enough to melt the brick and stone it now flickered across. Endless draws his gun and fires as he sees a shimmer against the edge of the flame moving rapidly towards them to close the distance. Puppy, either go on all fours or get up and defend yourself. He knows he doesn't have the reaction time to take on or fend off multiple vampires with their speed. And yourself. She retorts back at him, chuckling, shaking her head. You'd like me on all fours, but no, I did that on purpose. Now look. She tilted her head towards the furthest corner. There was blood smeared on the walls and flies festering on it as the smell of rotting flesh hit her nose. As they drew closer, she bites her lip. She hoped these vampires hadn't gone rogue and that these were just animal kills, judging by their smell, and that they had no clan already told her that she was wrong. They traveled further into the room and stopped at a wooden door and opened it, and 3 small bodies laid there in different stages of decomp. She felt the rage boil inside her. She grabbed the knife from her hip and lifted it, letting the bright glow of purple magic that Trixie had been teaching her to control form into the machete-type blade. She was aiming for the vampire's neck. But the female vampire ducked just in time and delivered a punch right to her stomach, which instantly knocked the air right out of her lungs. The vampire tried to grab the machete from her hand, but she recovered quickly from her blow, twisting the weapon in her hand, and before the vampire could grab it, she buried it right into her stomach. The vampire female let out a pained howl as her legs buckled under her weight, and when she pulled the blade out of her body, she fell onto her knees. She stood there, really debating if she should finish her off or hand her over to the council. She would be left to rot into the sunlight. This would be a more merciful death. She was conflicted. They might not have known what they were doing. Bloodlust could have taken over, but that explains one body, not the other 3. They enjoyed the killing. Was there any rehabilitation for them? Was there any for her? Hi, Wes. How are you? Welcome in. On dinner break? Well, welcome. We're just reading. I hope I can be a great background noise for you today. She wrestled with the sins of her past daily as she reflected on missions like this. As she stood there, a shadow moved from behind her, heading towards Endless. The force would have caused him to grunt under the weight of the body that had literally just crashed right into him. One powerful punch was delivered to his face without a warning. The blow was strong enough to turn his head violently to the side. Another punch came right after the first, then another. They were very untrained, but very strong. Yes, Wes? How may I help you? As his head flies back from the next blow to his head, his right hand draws the 50 cal pistol from his belly and fires one round into and out the back of his chest of the vampire's chest cavity. The bullet missing its beating heart, but staggering it enough that he can see past it to the bodies laying beyond Teach. His face takes on a dangerous glare. Glaring down at the quickly regenerating vampire. Vampire.
And vampires claim nobility and civility in their courts, do they not? His hand juts into the chest wound just before it closes. We see how you treat your cattle. Here's how we like ours.
The silhouette of him in the middle of the blue flame is all she's able to make out of them for the moment, instincts telling her little would survive the receiving end of the blast. Of the blast. Of the blast. She gasped as she had been distracted, and the female used it to its advantage. That was until she finally remembered that she was supposed to be the stronger of the two. So she hurried to raise a hand and grab the vampire's wrist, as she was very pleased when she managed to hold the hand still, just a few inches from her face. She basked in the look of surprise that took over the vampire's face for only a second before she twisted her hand, breaking the bone in the vampire's wrist easily and letting it as it let out a pained shout, her body leaning a bit to the side with the gaping wound in her chest and her wrist broken. Peach delivered a few punches of her own to the vampire's face to keep her disoriented, before quickly picking up her blade, running to end the last vampire of the nest. Okay. You've broken the law. You took the life of children and caused exposure to your own clan. I'm sorry. May the goddess deliver your soul into a better afterlife. The woman started to cry and shook. They were my family. I didn't mean to. Cheech hesitated again, but steadied her resolve and cut their heads clean off. She let out a painful howl as she knelt down next to the woman's body. As it started to turn away to ash, small tears fell from her face. Her heart mourned for her. I will find who had changed you, and I'll kill them without mercy, since they did you a disservice by turning you without guidance. Rest now. She looked around as she saw other doors leading out to the rest of the warehouse. There she smelt the human, but alive presence, and something else. Something that felt demonic and evil. She looked over at Endless to check if he was all right. I'm catching wind that a lot is going to change within the coming days. It's not a guarantee, but something big might happen. I'm just at my wit's end with my Nana in the hospital again. My mother's scheduled to have her neck and shoulder surgery soon as well. Aww. So they'll be really depending on you. It'll be okay. As far as the surgery goes, those are routine. She'll be fine for those. But I'm sorry to hear about your Nana, though. That's rough. But anything I can do, let me know. I'm here. You can always vent to me. If not in obviously not in chat, but in my DMs and stuff. It's always open to you. Hmm. Quack. Hi. My mother's gonna be a big change. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's rough not to have them around when they're, but she'll be fine. Um, hello. How are you? What you up to? What are your plans for today? Okay, hold on one second.
Oh,
I'm just
the best
copying these
time of my
over.
life. Holy fucking shit! I am a god. Fuck
please
you.
don't. Oh my. Hi.
Open the fucking door.
I'm trying!
Please, please be sir.
Hurry the fuck up!
No, no, no. Yes, he's out of his power.
Yes, go, go, go!
Oh, I 360 him. I 360 him.
All right, let's read this, let's edit it, and then that will be the end. We're not going to finish chapter 4 today, unfortunately. Doing good. Plans are for some games. Currently playing DBD, might end up on Grounded or MC. Oh, nice. Nice, nice. I might play Overwatch or something. I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Hi, Alpha. How are you? Welcome in.
I'm doing my best. Thank you, Alpha. Oh, fuck. That got a little scary, and I just saw a random wire running at my face. Frank pissed.
Behold my.
I've never been so happy to be pissed on. I wasn't gonna say it, but.
Behold the healing golden shower.
Woman. Say that again. Oh, that's great.
Okay. I don't know where the rest of it is, so we're just gonna do what we got so far. All right. Here we go. Ready, chat? Strap in. It's about to get crazy up in here. So, we just killed 2 vampires. We found out that they killed 3 people, mostly children. And she smells humans in the building. He turns in time to see the flames around him and the other vampires start to lessen in intensity, and Endless is seen blowing a little blood out the side of his nose. Then he reloads the round in the pistol, throwing the empty casing back into the flame so it melts.
Well, this turned shit show faster than I thought. Smell any live humans in this place, or can we kidnap one that looks important and let me torch this place with everything in it?
Ever the gentleman. She nodded at him and looked around as the loud echoing grew louder, the smell of the bloodlust thick, and now she knew why. She started to make a beeline tracking the way they came, when the shuddering of glass echoed around them as she felt without having to know that they were in deep shit. She grabbed his arm and ducked under a large generator as she looked him in the eyes. Don't be a hero. They're after me. But if you grab wind, he'll be able to deal with them faster. Worst comes to worst, you run, since they will not follow you.
Trust me, nothing about this is about to look, sound, or smell heroic. ID, hold your breath when we hit the door. Trust me, nothing about this is about to look, sound, or smell heroic. I'd hold your breath when we hit the door.
It's about to look, sound, or smell heroic.
Trust me, nothing about this is about to look, sound, or smell heroic. I'd hold your breath when we hit the door,
He says. He lets her pull him into a fast pace as they run. When they go through, he spins around, unleashing a torrent of flames from the same arm as before, but this time the magic uses the skin on the arm and fluid cloaks the arm before it is unleashed in a burst from the palm. It's just hot enough to incinerate anything it touches, but contained enough that only the doorway and say the extending 50 feet was caught in it. Start the car, puppy, you're driving. She smiled before they made the run and dropped into the driver's seat. And once he slides in, she peels off and then gets within the exterior. Oh, I'm missing part of the story. I think. I'll look back. Hmm. Ah, I found it. Okay. Okay. So it's supposed to read, well, this turned to shit faster than I thought. Smell any live humans in this place? Or can we kidnap one that looks important and let me torch this place with everything in it? She looks at him very confused. Her eyes watch his blood and the smell hit her nose. Her eyes darkened black and her fingers reached out despite willing it not to, but stopped short of him. You might be reading as human, but I used to be a hunter almost as long as you've been alive, and things are not always as they seem. She reached her neck and twirled around the chain twirled around the chain. It looked it looked it looked silver, but it wasn't. It was a nanowire. Nanowires became a common accessory for hunters or for those who spend a lot of time around vampires and prevented those from being touched psychically. Prevented those from being touched psychically. She sighed as she stood staring at the ground, willing herself not to look back into his face. Her hunger should be sedated, so why did she feel this way? It must be the lingering sense of bloodlust locked within the walls of this place. She rolled her eyes again as the slowly returned to normal yellow. Her hands clenched and unclenched at her sides as she recalled what was told to her about the Reapers and the gates and souls transported to and transported out to be reborn. Honestly, she'd rather deal with fey magic than that of souls in the afterlife. She could care less. She had a job to do as a job she was trained for. So they pushed deeper into the warehouse. Then they saw them, 2 men, barely alive, bleeding on the floor. These, however, were self-inflicted and stab wounds, not vampire bites. She was about to rush over, but stopped inches as she noticed a magic circle drawn. She let out another string of curses as she turned to him and starts to panic. We're not going to be able to get answers we want from them and these crappy human extremists. We need to leave before... She trails off as her eyes frantically search the darkness of the room. The human speaks while coughing up blood. You're dead. We've been setting this trap for months. He was wheezing, the echo of death moments away. The vampires were a distraction. No, she smelled blood on them. Endless chimes in from behind her. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd be able to pay for scar removal surgery. What's the play? I take being out in traps personally. How about you? His eyes flare flame. She nodded to him and looked around as the loud echoing grew louder. The smell of the blood was thick, and now she knew why. She started to make a beeline tracking the way they came when the shuddering glass echoed around them, as she felt without having to know that they were in deep shit. Okay, we read this part. Okay. She smiled before they made the run and dropped into the driver's seat. And once he slides in, she peels off and then gets within the exterior of the gate to the warehouse district. And then literally hell breaks loose. Breaks loose. And the back windshield crashed in, and she has to stop the car. Back windshield is crashed in, and she has to stop the car. That's, yes. Demons were little shimmers of silver and not full corporal in figure, at least not in the naked eye, nor to any non-energy being. The keen shifter's sense of smell gave them away, and the flicker of light in their movement helped convey their attacks, but it was like fighting blind. Watching and listening for a moment, she finally speaks up. They're rarely seen outside the Dark Realm due to their hard nature to summon and even harder to control. 6 is still a lot. One of the 6 that had maintained flesh form was currently standing human height in front of the car. Suddenly coughing, she closed her eyes momentarily as the whips of light and air passed dangerously close to her face. Blood splattered the driver's side window, as the nick in her cheek was evident. Fucking demons.
I'ma be honest, don't think I got much for demons. Most are immune to fire. Mine might still burn, but it can't kill them.
Endless says. He levels his gun with his good arm, his left smoking still, a bit aflame under the skin, at least off a few rounds into the perceived weak points of the creature. 2 out of one of the eyes and 3 at its legs. The creature fell with the most inhuman snarls. It echoed so loud she covered her human ears as best as she could with a loud gasp, ducking down. She began to shove him out of the car quickly, scrambling out the passenger side as she and him huddled down behind the car as the wind whipped and roared to light. She was breathing hard, as she was a bit panicked, as she wished she had better control of her angelic nature, but with her vampire blood, each time she did use any of it, she would shorten her life. The demons would blitz in and out of corporal form, tormenting them with loud howls. She thought hard for a moment as she finally steadied herself. Can you create a flash of light that will light up this block completely? And doesn't matter if we can see or not? Well, I won't be able to, but you're gonna be my eyes because your eyes won't be as sensitive. She pushed herself off the dirt and she grabbed the knife on her side. As the purple magic glowed again, a mixture of her natures extending to full length of a frozen reaper, of a fencing reaper, a repair, like that. I don't know how to say that word. When he used the light, whatever demon would pop up would be frozen.
White flames, then. Oh, I'm gonna be feeling this tomorrow, he nods. You're not gonna wanna carry me if I pass out, just dragging will work.
He raises his right hand up and another blue column of flames appear, but it quickly condenses into a brilliant and tear-shaped white flame that radiates with heat and light enough to fill the street. You got a few seconds. She was panting a bit hard as she focuses her energy in her hand. She was going to need a serious feeding after this. The thick whispers, almost like ghosts, and the tight, evil energy grips the black in its tight embrace, like it's gripping them both in a lattice of fear. She listened to his call-outs as her eyes closed, and she used her hearing and sense of smell, although the normal ash and sulfur smell was hard to track with the flames Endless was producing. Once the object was in her hand, extra white light expanded from the number tattoo on her skin, and her hair became tinted white, embracing that other side. Nobody but the Alpha would have seen. She hoped Endless didn't get spooked by it. Remember, trust me and trust where your power actually lies. She smirked softly. As the demons would pop into corporal form, they would be blinded and bound by the light, unable to reflect off of anything, so unable to change back. She groaned as she sustained wounds on her arms and legs from their run and hide tactics had taken a slight toll, nothing she couldn't handle. She stepped back from him, breathing in a scent, her hair white, her nails elongated. We have to make choices. We can build magic one way or the other, but they need to be sent back to the Gray Plane, and we can use this blade and other magical sources.
Blade's magic right. HS the power to Blade's magic right. HS the power to kill D.
Oh. Has the power to kill demons, or is made or embedded with something that can. If so, I can do something that 1, you're not going to like, 2, could break the blade, and 3, will not be fun for me. He thinks by stabbing himself with the blade and using the blade as a partial sacrifice along with his flesh and blood will summon the demons in place when the light from the flame touches them and can burn them. She looked at him and shakes her head. Sort of. There will be sacrifices by both of us. Oh no, that's him. Oh. As she fights the intense heat he is emitting, as her skin tickles from the slight burning of the intensity of the heat, she reached out, sliding the blade into his hand that was emitting the heat, searing her flesh, as she cried out in pain but didn't flinch. This will not be comfortable for you, and make sure you strike true, and with intent to banish, and it will do the rest when you hit your target. But you are going to get another scar, because the angelic forces will be routed through one of your arms, making its magic use weaker. She didn't give him much of a choice, as her fangs pierced his neck, establishing the connection between him and her, drawing his blood into her mouth and into her system, as her eyes shift from yellow to black to white, and he feels the sway of her body as she grasps in intense pain as the blood mixes in her but is outputted to him. He begins to feel a tingling sensation, but his white flames seem to grow brighter. He heard what sounded like angelic rhythm as the last 3 demons reformed into a larger one, crushing the roof of the car. It lunged forward at them. She pulled back from his neck as she fell to the ground and swore she saw his entire body glow. And that, chat, is it so far. I have a little bit more that I can add later. But yeah, we're about to find out why this, because this is a memory of why like Endless and her are kind of like she fucked up. Well, she didn't fuck up. Like they fucked up and they got in a lot of trouble. And it'll lead to why, like later on with Trixie, why he has to actually make friends with Wind, and why Wind is such an important part of their pack, which I kind of alluded to in the story. So if you're paying attention, it kind of makes sense. Putting all the pieces together, because there is a lot of flashbacks in this story, but they're all connected. It's like the overarching story is Trixie going with Wind to figure out why people are becoming zombies. And Wind is convinced to kind of help them because of Teach, which is the reason because of this thing that's going on right now. It's like happening almost simultaneously, but a little bit in the past. So yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna finish chapter 4, and then move to chapter 5, and then we have chapter 5 and 6 already done. And then I have to write more because I haven't finished it. Oh, that was a lot. That was almost an hour worth of reading. But I want to say thank you to my YouTube viewers who came to watch the reading. It will be up there for anyone who missed it. Yeah. Thanks again. All right, we're gonna take a quick minute to figure out if we're gonna keep streaming or if we're gonna end here. Hi, Alpha. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the story so far. What's your favorite part so far? What is anyone got any feedback for the story?